Good morning, everybody. My name is Jess Dixon. I'm the MPP for Kitchener South Hespeler. It is my absolute pleasure to be here this morning at the wonderful company that is Communitech, one of my favorite places in the region, to visit a place that always makes me feel like there's a lot of hope and optimism and a lot of innovation happening. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce our wonderful Minister of Labour. This is a man that one of the first interactions I had with him was an article where he was described as having the novel approach of going to places and listening to people. And we've had just an amazing amount of development from that. So without further ado, our Minister of Labour, Monte McNaughton.
Thanks, Jess. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Jess, for that introduction. It's great to be back here at Communitech. In fact, we were standing here I think just a couple of years ago making our first announcement here, and it seems like there are many government announcements here at Communitech because we love the work that's being done here. It's great to be here with my Waterloo Region colleagues, Mike Harris, who's going to be up here shortly, and of course Jess Dixon. Every day we're working with Premier Ford to build a brighter future for Ontario's workers. And I want to thank Chris and his team again at Communitech for hosting us here today. For over 25 years, Chris, your organization really has been a leader in building strong teams and strong employers in the region. So thanks, Chris, for all your work in Communitech again. Today, as we all know, more people are working remotely than ever before. In the fourth quarter of 2022, 1.4 million workers were working exclusively from home, and another 800,000 were working via hybrid model. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Waterloo, one of the biggest technology hubs outside of Silicon Valley. And while these remote workers don't have a desk in the office, their contributions to their employers and to our economy are just as valuable. Currently, our employment laws treat remote workers as second class, meaning they don't receive the enhanced severance payments that their in-office colleagues do during mass layoffs. This is wrong, and we're going to fix it. Our government is working for workers by introducing legislation that, if passed, will extend mass layoff entitlements to employees who solely work from home. This means they would get more notice that they are losing their jobs or pay in lieu, and in some cases, increase what they receive by as much as 8 times. The minimum severance pay for an individual layoff is 1 week, whereas the minimum for a mass layoff is 8 weeks. For billion-dollar companies, this change is a blip on their balance sheet. But for workers and those families, the peace of mind of having more time to find the next step in their careers will make a huge difference. And now, on a much happier note, we're leveling the playing field for workers when they start a new job. Asking your boss questions, especially for young workers, newcomers, and others working in precarious roles, can be daunting. Simply put, every worker should know what their job is before their first day. They should know what they're going to be paid, their hours, and where they're working before they start. Whether this is provided on paper, over email, or even by text message is up to the employer, but every worker must be given this basic information. These changes are part of legislation we'll introduce in the coming days. Together with other measures I've recently announced, like expanding cancer coverage for our firefighters and improving employment services to help young people and social assistance find work and build purpose-driven lives. Today, we're building on our previous Working for Workers measures, like protecting their right to disconnect so they can spend more time with their families, protecting their right to privacy by requiring employers to disclose electronic monitoring, and banning non-compete agreements that hold them back from bigger paychecks, and introducing, for the first time ever in Canada, foundational rights for gig workers, like the right to a minimum wage and a pay stub. The reason for all these changes is quite simple. We're putting workers in the driver's seat of their future. We're standing with them and their families as our economy changes. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is working for you and working for workers. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to Chris Albinson, the CEO of Communitech, to share a few words here this morning. Thank you.
Minister, thank you. So I just want to quickly thank the Minister and this government for their work. The economy is changing at a rapid pace, and making sure that the support is there for us to both have a competitive workforce that is working globally at a high pace of competition, but also having the support and the protections for those workers as things change, like hybrid, as the Minister announced, are all critical in a really changing environment. We were recently in Israel last week, and the comments coming back about the competitiveness of the Ontario economy, how strong it is, how large the tech sector is, but also the things like the non-compete example that the Minister highlighted, making sure that we had a world-class workforce and being able to attract world-class talent from around the world. And I know this is also part of the Minister's portfolio on immigration. So I want to thank him for the time to come back to Communitech. We think of you as our Minister. Being a Strathroy kid myself, love to have you here at all times. And I also want to thank MPP Dixon for all of her support. And with that, I'll turn it over to MPP Harris to bring us home.
Thanks. Well, listen, thanks, Chris. And we often joke I've been here quite a bit over the last 5 years and can lead the tour. So I know we're going to get a chance to do that shortly. But I did want to say a big thank you to Chris. Wherever you went, there you are. And your team here, I know it's been a challenging few days with a lot of the global implications that have come forward over the last little while. So thank you for hosting us today, and we'll go ahead and take any media questions if there are any.
We'll just take them afterwards.
Okay, perfect. That wraps it up. Thank you.